I am going to be recording this for Paul, so let's get started. So last week we actually had a Zoom call with a few coaches, and it was just an intimate call. But one of the things that kept coming up was that there was so much things that they needed to do for Beachbody that they didn't know how to fit it all in. And we started talking about it, and I said, let's make this a topic for the whole team, because when people start as coaches, they just feel like there's so much stuff to do and they don't know how to fit it all in. But when we break it down, there are only certain activities that we really have to be concentrating on. And that's what we wanted to go and talk to you guys about. So I made a cute little PowerPoint here. Let me share the screen. Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Yep. Okay, perfect. All right, so creating time. Running the business versus other activities. The main thing that we want to concentrate on is stop wasting time and doing what is important to build a business, get you success, and helping others. This is real. People just like you succeed. The first Success Club trip that I went on, at first I heard all these stories about all these top coaches, and I didn't think it was real. Like, what do they do different than I'm doing? And as soon as I went on that trip, I met all these people, and I'm like, wait a minute. These were normal people, stay-at-home moms, people that I met some doctors, lawyers, teachers, everything across the board. And the only reason why they were succeeding is because they were just doing simple things every day, or multiple times a week, and staying consistent. All right, so okay, some things that the first thing that we want to talk about is what is not running the business. But these are still important things to do, but this is not running the business. This is actually taking care of yourself and bettering yourself, which is important. We never want people to stop doing this, but we don't want to consider it running the business. So the first thing that we talk about is being a product of the product, and that is drinking Shakeology and working out. That's why we all got in the business. That's what we want to live a healthy life. We want to show others that we're living healthy. So we want to keep doing that. But again, that should not be considered part of running the business. Another thing is personal development. I can't stress this enough. As a new coach, I didn't think this was important, and I wasn't doing it, but I didn't find the time, or I didn't make the time to do it, and I hadn't found a book that really connected with me. But the first book that you find that connects with you, you will realize why this is so important. It opens up your mind and shows you how to do things, how people do things. And it doesn't have to be about running the business. It could be about anything, which is parenting, finance, creating relationships with your family members, any multi-level marketing, whatever it is. Just make sure that you're doing 10 minutes of personal development a day, or reading 10 pages. I'm not a person that likes to sit down and read a book. I actually do my personal development on the way to work in the car. I download my audio, and as I'm driving to work, I listen to it. My wife, Trenny, is totally opposite. She will not even listen to all these audiobooks that I buy. She has to get the same exact thing in a written version. And so while I'm listening to the audio, she's reading it. But you have to figure out what works for you. If you need a list of personal development books, most of the top coaches will have them. So just ask, and we would be happy to share them with you. Another thing is staying connected. That's through the Coach Online Office, the National Wake Up Call, and connecting with the team. It's great. It's making sure that you know what's going on. The National Wake Up Call is a must for all coaches. Again, I download mine on a podcast. It automatically downloads every week, and I listen to it on the way to work on Tuesday mornings. So I know what happens on Monday. I am actually driving to work on Monday. By Tuesday, the podcast has updated, and I listen to it on every Tuesday. And finally, connecting with the team. This is one great example of how we can connect with the team and get to know each other and help each other out. What is really not running the business? Scrolling social media. This is probably the #1 time waster for all Beachbody coaches. You think you're running the business, whether it's on the phone, you're sitting there, or you're actually sitting on your computer running the business. But the reason why these people became top coaches is because they have learned how to create a following. And sometimes we'll see one post by them, and all of a sudden it's 45 minutes later, and we're looking at what they drive, who they are, how many kids they have, and that's the point. They are drawing you in. And it's great to learn what they're doing to draw people in, but don't consider it running the business. Get tips from them and get out of there. Same with watching their videos. As a new coach, a lot of people like to create their own systems and trainings. It's something that, you know, leaders like to do. There are trainings out there. You might have to tweak them a little bit, but again, do not spend a month or two like we did trying to create new trainings that don't go anywhere without inviting one person to join you in your fitness journey. The most important thing, in which we're going to talk about, is having people join us. Making an ultimate plan with no action being taken. I actually spoke to a coach from another team who has a very, very, very strong upline, and she is trying to change everything that they're doing. And she's been a coach for over 6 months, and she hasn't done anything with it yet because she's trying to recreate the wheel. And I told her, I'm like, just stop doing that, get back, connect with your team, and get going. That's the only way you're going to get traction in this business. As a new coach, if you look at the videos in the back office, there's probably 500 videos back there. If you try watching them all to become an expert, you are going to stall yourself. You're going to be so overwhelmed and just killing time. Don't do that. There's way too many videos to become experts on them all. Now, there are important ones that we talk about when we start you off, but those are the ones that we want you to watch. Don't try to do them all. And then also watching videos, YouTube videos from top coaches. Same thing with up top. You can find hundreds, thousands of them on YouTube, but the thing is that we want to concentrate on inviting and connecting with people. So now we know what running the business is not. Let's talk about what running the business is. The income producing activities that are going to make you help more people and get you traction in this business. #1, connecting with people. This is not hard to do. We live in this life where people are scared to talk to others because we don't know what's going to happen. But as you're walking around every day, say hello, smile at them, do whatever you need to do. And this isn't trying to make them buy a Beachbody program. This is just opening yourself up and creating that personality. A lot of us do have kids, as we've seen. Every day we have to go pick them up. There's a good chance that you're going to see the same people over and over again. And how many people around you are just standing there, not saying anything, talking on their phones, on Facebook on their phones? Just go over and say hello. Talk to them about their shoes. Talk to them about whatever it needs to be, but just say hello. Ask them open-ended questions. Find out about them. You never know where it's going to take you. They may become your best friend. They may become your biggest alliance, or they may become a Beachbody coach because it's something they really want. The second thing is inviting people to a third-party tool. Probably the hardest thing to switch from connecting to people to doing this for coaches. It just seems scary. We want to be the experts, and we want to tell them everything that we've done and tell them how we're going to change their lives. But Beachbody is a world-class business that makes these videos, and they make these videos to show people how these products are going to work. So there's great videos in the back online office. I probably send the same 5 videos 95% of the time. If you want to know which ones I send, if you want to know which ones Paul sends, whoever inspires you, reach out and say, hey, what videos do you send to people to ask them to join the challenge group, or ask them to, which program they want? And we can definitely share those with you. Another third-party tool is a 3-way call. You pick someone that's in the business that you know has had some success, and you ask them, hey, are you available during this time? Or can we set up a 3-way call or a 3-way message? Even on Facebook, if it's a 3-way message, we will help you just get the conversation going to find out what the person needs and what we can offer them. The third thing is creating new contacts. And that includes adding people on social media, just saying hello to people. And when I first started, when I heard creating contacts, I thought that meant wearing and sharing to the grocery store and trying to stalk every single person in the aisles just so I can try to get them, as a new contact. But it's not. It's one of those things where if you do say hi to someone and you have a good conversation with them, instead of just walking away, say, hey, are you on Facebook? Hey, are you on Pinterest? Whatever your social media of choice is, connect with them, add them onto it, because like I said, you never know what'll happen from there. We have met so many people and so many great friends that we do things with just because that one question before we walked away from each other said, hey, are you on Facebook? Following up with people. So what happens if we connect with them, we ask them to share a third-party tool? A lot of people will watch those third-party tools, but if we're not doing the follow-up, they're probably not going to run to us and say, hey, I'm ready. There are very few that do, but most of the time it takes us going back to them and asking them, hey, what'd you like about it? If you set a date for a challenge group, tell them, hey, the challenge group starting March 30th. Would you want to, learn more about it? Ask them questions, find out what they're thinking. What did you like about the video that I sent you on a scale of 1 to 10, with being 10 getting ready to start today? Where are you? Can I call you sometime so I can answer your question? Again, just be natural and follow up with these people. You've already made a connection with them, so why not go back and follow up with them? And number 5, the last, and I'd say all these are important, but it's creating a following on social media. Earlier we talked about how we stalk top coaches. What happens when people start following you? And when you post something that adds value to their lives, they start liking it, they start commenting on it, they start asking you questions. It's a total game changer in this business when you get that following. A lot of coaches want to just say that Shakeology's challenge packs are on sale this week, this is how much they are, but that's not going to get you a following. You have to be yourself. What makes you who you are? One thing that 15-star diamond Shay Stanford says is to post 3 times a week about Shakeology and your workout, but make it yourself. Make it you falling over. Make it funny. Make it something that's that you are going to stand out. But only 3 times a week about that stuff, not every day, every hour. You want to add other things about who you are. Are you a parent? What do you do in your professional life? What do you do recreationally? What can you do to help them, show them who you are? And finally, we should be supporting our team by commenting on their posts. Because when you do a post, isn't it nice to have someone there, supporting you and liking your post and commenting on it? Well, if you're not doing it to other coaches, it's probably not going to get reciprocated back. So be that first one out there, that when you are done working your business hours, that you may sit down for 15 minutes and scroll through your news feed and start, liking the coach's posts and stuff. And when posts come out on Facebook, the sooner that you comment and like, the sooner that they will show more people in the news feed. So now we got the 5 things, and we will recap those. But we want to talk about what is a hobby and what is the business. So do you want to get paid as a hobby, or do you want to get paid as running this as a business? So what does a hobby coach look like? Hobby coaches are great. There's nothing wrong with this. We love hobby coaches. They support everyone. They are there in challenge groups. They're using the products. They see the value of the products. So there's nothing wrong if you want to consider yourself a hobby coach. But what does it look like? They're using the products. They're posting occasionally. They have the basic website use, and they're socially involved. So what can you expect as a hobby coach? You can expect accountability from the other coaches in the challenge groups, a happy and healthier life because you are working out, exercising, and doing your personal development. I bet you're going to be more motivational than you were before you signed up as a coach. And you will get some income, but it might be lower random. So that's what you can expect. Now we have the business coaches. Now these are the coaches that they work it like a business. They set their business hours. They have goals on what they want to do. They are organized from the get-go, and they work from a list. When people come up to them and they say, you know, you want to go out tonight, and they know that they have a power hour scheduled, they'll say, I would love to, but from 8 to 9, I'm going to be busy, so I will meet you at 9:05. And these are the coaches that are going to see a little bit more. So what can they expect? A purpose-driven life. The first time that I got a text from someone with their actual results from a challenge group, and they were ecstatic, that's the first time that I realized that other people needed this too. That I was able to help someone. Every time I get a call or a post like that, it just builds me up. And the more you do it, the more people trust you, and the more of a team you're going to build. On limited career growth potential. I don't know if you've seen what some of these coaches are making, but it's amazing. There are coaches on this team that are making things that are life-changing. There are trips to Rome, Italy, that are on this team that were offered this year for high potential coaches. Whatever you want, you could do with this. You just have to make the decision if you're going to treat it like a business or a hobby. You will make consistent residual income, and you will have a huge circle of influence of which you created. So this is that picture that I wanted to show you before. But this is real for people just like you and I. There's 10 people on this call right now that are going to be here next month. This is the Moon Palace in Cancun. We are all going on a fully paid trip to Mexico at an all-inclusive resort. And this is just for helping people. This is nothing tricky. It's just running the business and treating it like a business. So what do we want to ask you guys? How many days per week and hours per day can you work this business? It would be great if you could say 40 hours, but a lot of us do have our careers or families or other things that are more important than the Beachbody. But answer that yourself. How many days per week and how many hours a day can you work this business? And there are those 5 things that we talked about again. When we say working the business, we want to talk about connecting with people, inviting them, creating the new contacts, following up with people, and creating a following on social media. It's your life and your business or hobby. You decide what you want from it. So there is something called Power Hour. And this is what top coaches do. And when they sit down, before scrolling their news feed, before checking in with their challenge groups, before doing all that extra stuff that isn't going to build you a business, this is an example of one of the power hours that top coach does. So 15 minutes of creating new contacts and connecting with people. Easy. You can go to the find friends section, find out who you're mutual friends with. You can add people from your challenge group. If you're in a challenge group, by the time that challenge group gets over with, you should be friends with every single person in there, because these are people that are either coaches or they're people that are on their journey, and they can support you. You never know who's going to become a great friend and mentor to you. 15 minutes of creating a list and inviting people to look at a third-party tool. So you have all these friends on Facebook, in real life, on your phone. Who are you going to invite? Make that a list and decide who you're going to invite. And then actually reach out and ask them if they would be interested in watching a video. 15 minutes of following up with people. Let's go back and see what they liked about the video and where they're at. See if they need more information. Remember, it takes 6 exposures for someone to decide, to have enough information to decide if they want to be, join a challenge group or become a coach. So make sure that we are getting that information to them. And then 15 minutes of planning social media posts for the next day. Guys, it's not hard. We can do it. It just takes a little bit of thought. Like, what holidays are coming up? What are we going to be doing? We can start talking about those things months in advance and build excitement to that. So make sure that if you're sitting down, you have your no matter what's of what you're going to do and what's going to build this business. There's some tools that we can use. One of them is a business activity tracker. I have a picture of it right here. This is in the back office. Basically, a lot of that stuff on there are not the business building activities. They're the things that we do to live a healthy lifestyle. Be the proof the product works. Scratch that off. If you're good at working out on a regular basis, scratch that off. We already know you're going to do that. If you're good at personal development and you get your 10 minutes in, scratch that off. Make a list of things that you know that you need to do on a regular basis to move ahead. So let me just wrap this up saying here's your call to action. Create your power hour and post it on the Goal Crushers page. Do it tonight. Don't say you're going to do it tomorrow or next week. This is something that it's going to be on your mind when we get off this call. Write down what you think and post it, because your power hour may be something that someone else on this team can use, and we can all take tips from each other. So how many days a week are you going to run this business? How much time will you put into running this business? What will your activities be in your power hour? And don't say 7 days a week, 3 hours a day. If you're doing nothing right now, make it realistic. If you want to say 1 hour a day, 3 times a week, we'd be happy, just as long as you make it realistic. So I think, I don't know how long I went here. Let me stop sharing this. Let's see. Jen, you look stressed. All right. So let's see. That was 26 minutes. Let me pass it over to Trenny right here. She was going to say a little bit of what she does for a power hour. And then we'll open it up to question and answers. And we want to hear what the top coaches on this team do for their power hour, or the questions that you just have on how to make a power hour.
So I don't have the nice PowerPoint like Ken did, because he literally told me about an hour ago while I was at work that I was the guest speaker for tonight. So I'm just—
I planned ahead. Paul got on a plane instead of doing his part of this call.
I have been frantically taking notes here, trying to explain, very quickly how my power hour goes down. So I can certainly elaborate on this, after the fact. If you have more questions for me, just, shoot me a message. But kind of in a nutshell, here is what I do. When I first started, I was trying to do everything just when I had a few minutes. If I had a couple minutes alone, I was trying to answer emails. I was trying to post things. I was trying to check in with my challengers. And what I found is that it was just family time. I was ignoring the girls. I was just kind of an unorganized mess, and I was losing track of my challengers and what I was doing. So I sat down and set designated office hours. So I work my business Sunday night through Thursday night, and I always do it from it's usually like 8 to 10 or 9 to 11, but it is a set 2-hour time frame. And I know a lot of people ask, what about your challengers or people that are messaging you and they have questions? You want to stop and answer them. You can't drop what you're doing to take care of everybody, because again, you're going to start ignoring your other responsibilities as parents, coworkers, whatever it is. So when I start a challenge group or I start one of my free groups, I just flat out tell everybody, I am a busy mom. I work during the day and the family comes first. So I let them know that I do work the business at nighttime and that I will respond to them. It will be later in the day, but they will have an answer from me. And then that takes the pressure off of me from trying to respond, at all hours of the day. So my 2-hour power hour looks like this. The first hour, I designate that to responding to my emails and to my messages that I've gotten from my challengers throughout the day, and also from my coaches. And that usually takes me the full hour, because I tend to get a pile up and I want to put a thought, provoking response into it. So I don't want to just say something to say something and to move on. So I do, this does usually take me the full hour. So then the second hour, what I do is, the first thing I do is I work from my list of contacts that I have. And this is kind of when I do all of my inviting and forming all my new people. And a tip that I actually learned from Kevin, I don't know if Kevin is on tonight, but he had shared with us last week that when he is forming new people, he will respond to them and then he will like leave it with an open-ended question for them to respond back. But that's it. He doesn't have an ongoing running conversation because that can take up your whole power hour if you spend all your time just talking to one person. So again, he replies to them, leaves it with an open-ended question, moves on, to the next person that he's, forming. And I try to always have at least 5 to 10 forming conversations going. So if you try to stop and reply to everybody with those running conversations, you're never gonna get anything else done. So I thought that was a great tip from him so that you can still have these conversations, but they're not tying up, all of your time. So another thing that I do during this last part of the power hour is I check in with my groups. So my free group people that I have going, I try to go back and read through the posts throughout the day and, put my 2 bits in so that they know that I'm there and I'm present and, I'm watching what they're doing. And then I will also spend another, 10, 15 minutes maybe thinking about what I'm going to post the next day in Facebook. So throughout the day, I'll kind of, I'll get ideas and I'll just, type them into my phone so that when I sit down that night, I can remember like, oh, I had this great idea about Shakeology, I should post that, or, I want to have a conversation about something and post that. So, and the one thing that I used to get busted on, I'm pretty good now, but Ken, how we said that you can waste a lot of time just scrolling through newsfeed and scrolling through YouTube videos. So he always tells me, if your fingers aren't typing away, then you're not doing the business. You're not responding to people. You're not inviting. You're not sending out those third-party tools. So I always feel like he's watching to see how fast I'm typing and to make sure that I am typing. So that in a nutshell is my power hour. I think I hit it all, but like I said, if you have any questions, these are just random things that I was trying to write down for you guys. So feel free to shoot me a text or a message and I can elaborate more for you too. So.
All right, so we are done talking. Like I said, no one is the expert on this team. We are all in this together. So if you have something to add about this topic, or you have questions about this topic, or you have anything else that you just want to tell us about, please open up. Let's start talking as a team. Unmute yourself. I know Kayla is rocking this business. Tony's been in this forever. He's doing a great job. So there's so many great people on this call. So let's hear from you.
Well, I'm happy to just add a couple of things. Some of the stuff, sorry, I'm still getting over being a bit run down, so I apologize if I'm like coughing in your ear. But something, Ken, that you had said about what Shay Stanford had said about posting Shakeology or workout pictures 3 times a week. And the thing is, like, I've focused a lot of my business now on social media. And I think that's right, because you don't want to, like we've heard before, vomit beach body. But there's also like different ways that you can do that where there might be something slightly different. Like right now I have a countdown to Cancun. So I've been posting regularly my countdown. So it's going to be something related to that where people can check in, because I'm asking my followers and my listeners or whatever to say, hey, like, you can keep me accountable. So something like that where it creates interaction and excuse me, and you can get them involved, make them feel like they're a part of it. Hey, you're doing it, so I can do it too. Then that's actually just another free way for them to build trust and ultimately saying, hey, come join my team, come join a group that I have going. They'll be like, well, yeah, she kind of did that, and I liked what she was posting, and that will give them a better trust for you to actually sign up for something. So in that sense, that's where it can be different. And the other thing that I noticed with social media, actually two other points I wanted to make, and then I'll stop talking. But one is that in order to create a better following, you need to be interactive. So I appreciate not wanting to like just waste time scrolling a feed. That is kind of, that does waste time, but there should still be a purpose to what you're doing, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram and connecting. That's what's going to build traction to your page. So you do need to go to other people's pages and like things and comment, because that's going to put your page in the forefront and a feed. If I'm on Instagram and I'm going to other people's pages and either following them, I don't even have to follow them. I could just like pictures, or I can comment on pictures. Then that's going to show my name up more, and people are going to come over to my page and see what I have. And as long as I'm having some sort of valued content that is worth them, for them to follow, then I've connected, and then we've made that connection. I'm now averaging about 100 new followers on Instagram a week, because I keep interacting, and I literally just do it at very random times, like not to give too much information, but I wake up in the morning, I go to the bathroom, I open my phone, and I like a couple of pictures. You know, like it's so silly and stupid, but it's actually one of those activities that you can be passive with and be productive and move on to the next thing. So sometimes it's just those little seconds that actually makes a difference, where you can comment or like a picture. So interaction on social media is huge in order for people to have to get traffic to go to your page. And then to make your post personal. So when you are posting, whatever social outlet you choose, make it personal. So if you're talking about a workout, or you're talking about your day, or always start it off with something that makes it about you. Like my example, if you're going to do some sort of workout picture, is like, I've always struggled with my weight and fluctuating and trying to make time, but I've found a rhythm now, and now I'm doing it, and I'm so excited, and I feel like I'm in the best health ever. Like, do you feel that way? Do you want to feel that way? And then it gives them sort of something about you, that you're normal, and you haven't, you're not like some rock star, fit person, or you have all your crap together. You're just like everyone else, struggling and trying to make it work, but you found something that works, and you're willing to share it. And asking them if they want that as well, then gives them a call to action to respond. So that's how I've been trying to work. And I get most of my customers now all through Instagram. Like I would say 90% of my customers are all coming from Instagram. Amazing. So that's something that I've taken the time to build. And in my Power Hour, I map out posts, and I make sure that those are set for not necessarily even just the day ahead, but maybe even 2 or 3 days ahead.
Yeah,
and,
great points. And the bathroom, the 5 minute hour, five minute, like I didn't go there, but yes, that is very important. Like other people's posts and comments on your own. Like we didn't want to like,
come on, who doesn't take their phone to the bathroom?
And now that we're all regular, we can do that. I mean, that's three times a day, maybe, on Shakeology. So.
And it's so easy, because you can literally just like look at a couple of pictures, scroll through, and that's where Instagram, you scroll through the feed, you like a few, you comment on something, bam, it takes you like less than a minute to do that, and you've just created an online presence. So
perfect.
Yeah. Awesome tips, Kayla.
Awesome tips, thank you.
Sure.
All right. Who else?
Bueller. No, such shy people. Oh, Jen's gonna say something. We gotta unmute her.
There we go.
Sorry, I had to unmute. My struggle isn't necessarily the Power Hour. My struggle is finding value for like the common folk. I feel like I'm just a mom here. Oh, But I just feel like like, what value do I have to offer my customers? Like, that's what I struggle with. And Kayla is like, she's like my, you know, I'm constantly going to her. So this isn't something that I haven't already gone to my coach and talked to her about it. But it's one of those things that I second guess myself, and I wonder, like, what could I give that would be of value? And I know Kayla's probably going to rip me apart but you know, I'm just putting it out there because maybe somebody else is thinking the same thing. Like, what do I have to offer? You know, other than, yes, my own struggles and my own, you know, being a busy mom and trying to find, you know, the niche. But I want to do more than just that. And that's what I struggle with.
I think that's what people relate to, though. It's, you know, you are a mom, and, you know, maybe you are struggling with your health and fitness journey, and that's what makes you relatable. Like, it doesn't always have to be, you know, for me, it doesn't always have to be like valuable content. Like, I mean, sometimes I post silly pictures of the girls in sunglasses. Like, it's just putting yourself out there so that people know who Jen is. And then in between those posts, you know, you do sprinkle in something about health and fitness. And that way they know, you know, when they're ready to make a change, that, you know, oh, I've been following Jen, and Jen's kind of having the same problems I am. And, you know, she's the one that, you know, I can relate to, and she'll be able to help me. And I struggle with content too. Like, sometimes I think Ken puts the most amazing stuff out there, and I'm like, where does he come up with this stuff? You know, and here I am just posting about what I ate and that I had coffee with the mommy, and, you know, it's just making people get to know you. And I don't know, maybe Ken can say where he comes up with all the good content.
I'd say that the number one thing is that you're trying something. See what works, see what doesn't work. Once you do it for a year, there's that app called Time Hop that tells you what you posted a year ago. I just recycle my posts. Don't tell anybody, shh. But it's really easy. It's really easy because I can see what I posted 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But
What's that app again?
Time Hop.
Time Hop. So yeah, you can just go back on and copy and paste them right back in.
Really?
And
one of the other things that I noticed too with trying to come up with content is I went to other coaches or other pages and saw what they posted to get inspiration, and say, I'll screenshot it so that then I can learn to put it in my own words when I'm ready to use something like that. Like, I can't tell you how many pictures are on my phone. I'm like, I need another phone just for the photos that I have in there. Like, and
I see that. Yeah.
and so using that, but then posting, when you start posting regularly, whether you know that this is going to be a good post or not, when you start doing it more regularly, you will find out what works and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, like, for Instagram, there's a website that's called Iconosquare, ICONO Square, the word. So iconosquare.com will actually tell you what is doing better, what isn't doing great out of your Instagram pictures. So you can check in and see what's working. You can now get insights on what works and what doesn't work on your like pages on Facebook. So as long as you just start doing it, give it some time, and then you'll find out what time of day works better, and what posts work better. I learned that more motivational type posts work better for my audience, when someone else works better posting food. Like, none of my followers want to see food from me, you know, like, so, but that's because you have to just do it over time. So don't overthink it. Get out of your own head and just do what is on your mind and what you think just seems cool, you know, and it'll start to all. She's making that face. This is what I go through every time I talk to her.
That's why I keep the running list in my phone, because I get the most random thoughts during the day, and they may not be the most thought-provoking at the moment, but at least it's an idea for me to kind of run with, you know. And so I have a list, and I don't necessarily post all that stuff in one day, but I have content, you know, for several days, and it may not seem appropriate to post that day, but maybe down the road it will have more of an appropriate place on my page. So
And Trini, where do you save that? Do you just put it like in a notes? Or do you
yep, because I always have my phone, so I just jot it down in my notes section. And
The thing is that I never, like right when I'm ready to post, I can never think of something. I always have to go to my notes and say like, my thoughts come into my head while I'm laying down at bed, while I'm in the bathroom. So make sure you're writing those down somewhere, whether it's a notepad or it's in your notes section on your phone.
Yeah.
You're never going to remember it the next day or 2 days later. And on top of it, it clears your mind for more info.
so some days I write these things down and then I'll go back and look at it and I'll be like, what was I thinking when I wrote this? Like, what was my thought process? So it's always entertaining.
Yeah, no, I agree. Stuff like that. When I want to make a point, I've got to write notes, and I go back and I look at it. That's some stuff I'll spend my free time at work doing. Instead of other stuff, because this is more important. But anyway, so I'll get those ideas, and then I'll put those posts. I try and concentrate on like between 4 and 5 different areas. I've been pretty consistent now the last 2 months, and I found people are actually looking for it. I do a motivational Monday picture. I don't know. I just kind of started, and I really started getting, I get a handful of likes, a couple comments, nothing overwhelming, but I know some of the same people are always looking at it. So I got a feeling people are out there looking for it. Okay. Or at least it's kind of become, hey, what's he going to say this week?
Always watching.
I do like to share what my kids are doing. So, whether it's my daughter with gymnastics, my son with scouts, or now baseball is starting. It's a slice of my life, but it's what they're doing. With the workout / beach body, I'll share my struggles. Like now with Insanity Max, I put it out there. It's no big secret. I hate cardio. And yet I'm doing because this is a challenge for me. And it's about trying to do something that you feel you can't do and see what happens from it. And that's the whole point of all these posts from it is, I'm really stepping outside that comfort zone, and let's see what happens. Let's see where it takes me.
So it sounds like so the reason why we did this call is because this happened last week or 2 weeks ago, is that people kept asking the same question. So it sounds like social media is a sticking point for people. So let's make that a topic on a future call. So we will get Kayla, who's amazing on Instagram, and the people that are rocking this, maybe we'll get a guest speaker that is rocking their post, but let's do a session of one of our calls. So let's definitely.
Right. We may have to have maybe Francis and Stephanie do it too, because they put really good stuff out there all the time too. So
yeah.
you may have to
I was going to add in my 2 thoughts really quick.
Yes, definitely.
I'm sorry. I don't know who is saying that she's having a hard time thinking of good posts, and she's a mom as well. But I still think I do. But overall, my posts have gotten a lot better, and it's because I started following the top coaches, especially the stay-at-home moms or coaches that kind of, I think, have the same personality as me after listening to their podcast. So I try to follow what they're posting and put out similar content, or try to copycat their pictures, or, taking my boys to the park and taking pictures of us in the park while I'm trying to work out. And I get a lot of moms that comment on those pictures and ask for questions. And then another big thing that I do, since I'm vegetarian / going vegan, I try to put my daily recipes out there, and I get a lot of comments about nutrition, or a lot of text messages about nutrition, even though I don't feel like I have a very good nutrition background. But that got me a pretty good following now. So I'm surprised at how many comments I get from people who I don't even know. So they just me tagging a friend, and they've now become my friends, and I, grew my contact because of that.
Very good. Thank you, Stephanie.
You still look great, though. You look
Is that Maria?
Yeah. We're mute you, Anthony. Maria's. All right. So, is there any other thing? We got about 10 more minutes here. Is there any other thing that you guys want to talk about? Ask future topics for things that you're struggling with. Let's hear from these new coaches. Let's, what are you scared about with the business?
I don't have my camera on, but this is Leanne. I'm on Kayla's team.
Hey, Leanna.
And my biggest thing, and again, like Jen said, I constantly tell Kayla, my biggest fear is actually reaching out to someone. Like once I have them, that second phone call or that second conversation, I'm fine. It's the forming and the initial contact that I can't get out of my own way. And I feel like if I ask somebody about it, that I might offend them or make them unattracted to me because I want to bring in, a healthy lifestyle or fitness to them.
So it's not the forming where you're just saying, hello, how are you doing? It's to say, hey, would you be interested in joining me on my health journey?
Right.
Okay. So the way that I do it is after I form someone and they're talking back to me, I let everything cool off for like 2 to 4 weeks. And then I come back and say, hey, I didn't even think of this, but if I sent you a video on how I got in such great shape and how we're helping so many people, would you watch it? And if you just say, if I do this, would you do that? Most people are like, sure, I can watch it, but I'm probably not going to buy it. You get an objection right away, but at least they say they'll watch the video. And a lot of people won't respond just because they looked at their phone and they saw the message and they were at work and they didn't respond back. But there are people that say, yes, I will watch the video. And then you just start the whole process. Now you've brought up health and fitness once for them. So maybe 2-3 months down the road, they will come back to you, or when you do your next follow-up because you saw their name on a list, that they will say, okay, I'm ready. Because we never know when people are going to be ready. And it does take multiple interactions with them to get enough information to them to find out what we're going to be doing, how much it costs, things like that. But I told a coach that I was talking to last night, I don't want to be sitting in this business and spending my power hours 5 nights a week and 5 years from now saying, wow, I'm still in the same position, didn't go anywhere. I want to do what I need to do. And at first it's uncomfortable, but just like posting on social media, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. You'll have people that say no, you'll have people that don't respond, but you will get those people that say, sure, I'll watch it. And those are the people, that first person that says yes, and they go through the whole process and they come back to you saying, oh my gosh, I have been struggling with my weight my whole life. I am now at my goal weight. I did this. I went rock climbing with my kids. You will not have a fear of reaching out to the next person.
Thank you.
I also think too that if you go to an indirect approach and say, look, I know this isn't really your thing, but I've started this new business. I'm super excited about it. Or you don't even have to say business, but just like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I'm so excited about it. I've gotten such great results. Do you know anyone who might be interested? And asking for referrals. So it takes the pressure off the person you're talking to, and they'll be like, oh, you know what? Well, so-and-so might, and you can open the door that way. I think sometimes doing the indirect approach helps because they're not feeling pressured, and they may very well have someone in mind, and that could be your customer. And then when that person signs up, then the original person you talk to will be like, huh, maybe something's actually legit here. And again, it also goes back to social media, because if you're posting all this time and staying consistent with it, people are watching. So, they might not want anything to do with you in the beginning. They don't believe you, but in time they will, and they'll come around.
Can I ask, this is Stephanie again, the one thing I struggle with is retention of my customers, especially on Shakeology. Like, I just find that after the first month, they kind of fall off, even though I put all my Shakeology customers on a separate Facebook group. So I private message them like once a week, and I tell them the benefits. I give them recipe tips, ingredients, fun facts, just to keep them interested in letting them know that what they're drinking is amazing compared to the other products out there. But I still find that they just fall off. So I don't know what tips you guys have.
Do they tell you why they're canceling?
Some say it's the price, and then a lot of them say because they only start out doing like a half a scoop or a fourth of a scoop because they have tummy upset for like the first 2 weeks. So they get a built-up supply at home, and I just don't think they find the value of drinking it every single day, even though I promote drinking it every single day to them as much as I can without, texting them every day and saying, hey, are you guys drinking your shakes today? This is why it's so important, blah, blah, blah. So it's mostly because of just built up stock at home.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I do say to customers who might be in that position, I tell them, I say, it's to your advantage to keep it on home direct so that if they decide they really do want to stay on it, they're not paying extra money. So keep it on home direct and show them how they can push back their ship date online. So it keeps them on home direct, but then they can push it back to, the following month or, every six weeks instead of 30 days, something like that. And then at least they, they know that it's not coming in 30 days when they already have product at home. So I tell them that it'll save them money. In terms of the value of it, I think in one way, I've found that everyone who's staying on Shakeology, and this is I'm seeing a consistency of just the last maybe 2 or 3 months of people staying on it longer, is that I have them in this ongoing accountability group where everyone's either doing a workout, Shakeology, or both. And everyone is so interactive on that group that now the people who weren't on Shakeology are seeing, well, everyone's talking about it. Now I want to try it. And every once in a while we'll throw in why it's so beneficial. But it's not just all Shakeology all the time. So maybe that almost... I don't know for sure, but I'm just listening to what you're doing. I'm wondering if maybe you need, it's too much Shakeology in their face. And so they might need to just have accountability. And then once in a while, once or maybe twice a week, you can offer why Shakeology is so awesome. And maybe that'll feel like it's less of a sale to them. And because that could also be just an excuse. They don't want to hurt your feelings. who knows why people don't want to stay on it. It's kind of normal that people don't stay on it. The average, I think, is Ken or Trina, you might know. I think it's 4 months, right? And then they cancel 3 to 4 months, and then they cancel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just giving them just overall accountability might help them to just feel like, yeah, you know what, I do feel better on it. Helping them understand that it's less than $5 a day. Yes, it's upfront cost, but $5 a day, you can't beat it.
And then, the number one thing that's going to keep them on it, Stephanie, is getting them support right from the get-go. When in health and nutrition, we need to be supported. We need to be learning every day. So yeah, the accountability groups are amazing. And then also getting them to be a discount coach right away. Because once they see the coaching structure and how people are interacting and having fun, then usually it'll start clicking a little sooner, and they get the discount.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it is now 7:00, so I want to thank everybody for coming on. We will try to post the YouTube video of this in the Goal Crushers page. We got a call to action here where it says, please tell us what your power hour is, how many days a week you're going to do it, and how long. let's, I mean, I counted 19 people on this call. Even if you're a seasoned veteran, let's post ours too, because, you know, it will help someone else out. So I think we can all make each other proud and go on there and to just put 15 minutes of thought into it, type something up and pop it up there. I don't care if it's weak. We'll, you know, give you some tips, or let's see what we can do with this.
Yeah, everyone.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we will post when the next call is going to be and everything else, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen with these things. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Good one.
Bye, everyone.
Thank